Alright, I am now recording an OBS session. We talked about OBS earlier, but what you guys are going to see here, I'm going to post and share with you guys on Microsoft Stream. Okay, this is my first test run, so I'd love to knock this out right now. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and set up our cameras. So, I mentioned earlier I have my camera body here, and before I take the sensor cap off on this, I'm going to take the back lens cap off of my lens, okay? That's where it's going to go in here. So, let's go ahead and remove this. So I'll put it right here on the table, and then I'll remove the sensor cap. And then there's a little red dot right up here, and we want to line it up with the red dot that we see right here. Should slide right in, nice and fit, and then rotate it to the right, and you should hear a click just like that. And now we have the lens cap up at the front. Another trick that I like to do is that the one right here with the spokes kind of sticking in, that shows you guys that that is for your sensor cap in your camera. We see these little grooves poking inward, like in this direction. But this one right here was the back end of the sensor cap on the camera, or the lens cap. This is the back end on the lens cap. This actually fits just like that, kind of like an Oreo. And then you can find the nice spot and then rotate them to the right. Don't let it fly, but then you can kind of keep them close together like that. And I put them in my camera bag for safekeeping. So that's where I leave it, so I know where everything is. All right, so now go back to the camera. I already had it put in here, but we have our battery on the bottom. So shining a light right there, we have this latch that we see on my finger. Spin that to the right, flip it up, and then there's a little button that we see right here, this latch that we push upward that can eject our battery. I think we all know what we're doing here at this point, but I'm making a tutorial for those that kind of forget some of these steps. All the way deep inside there, we may not see it, but if you guys look for yourselves, there's a couple of metal prongs. You might see it with the light right here. Yeah, there's a couple metal prongs that you see right there. You want to line those up with the gold plates that you see, or the copper plates right here. So your battery, if you're looking like this, you're just going to kind of flip it like so, and it should line up right there. And then push it in until it clicks. Clicks right there. Bring this guy down, and then when we bring him down, we want to put the latch back so that it locks and it stays in place. Okay? And then another thing as well, you want your SD card. So your SD card is going to go on the right hand side of your camera. So as you're holding it and you're looking in this direction, it's going to be where your right hand is located. So we take this, we push it in, but then we just slide it back in this direction. So it clicks, and we open it up right here, and then there's a slot right there in which our SD card is going to go in. Now if we're looking at it like this, the actual front of the SD card is going to look like that as we inject it into the side, okay? So the metal plates are facing away from us as we inject it in, looking behind and through the camera, okay? So now, there we go, latched it in. It should click if we push it all the way in, and then we've closed right here, and then we slide it back. Perfect. I know we all know some of this already, guys. We've been through this, but I just like to do it so that in case people forget. And then I want to go ahead and take the lens cap off, and we should be good. We should be good to roll. What's our setting should be on? We want to keep it on movie mode right here. We want to keep it on movie mode. And then we want to keep it on the single frame over here. Just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and flick it on. Should be coming on. Let's pull our LCD panel all the way over here. There we go. Looks pretty good. So now our camera's on. But before we do that, and we need to do this in order to do the clone project, we need to have our camera in what type of position? Not a specific shot, but should the camera be moving at all? Should it sit still? What do we do to avoid our masks kind of overlapping each other?
Locked in, steady position.
Yep, locked in, steady position. Good job, Nancy. Thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and hook this up to my switcher, and you guys are going to see that in a second. But let me go ahead and put it on the tripod plate, and then we're going to slide it on there in a second, okay? Alright, we talked about the different legs that we have down here. I always like to do the bottom latches first when we're starting off our tripod. So, slides all the way down, close it back, go to the second one right here, slide it all the way down, go to the back, and we'll go to the third one. There we go. All three of the bottom legs lowered. Spread it out like so, nice and steady. There we go, put it in the center. So, now, if you remember what we see here at the top, guys, we see a little red button, and then we see a slight latch on the other side of the red button. So we have the red button up here, and then we have the latch on the other side. So let's loosen that latch first, because when it's tight, this tripod plate isn't going to move. Let's loosen that first. Now we can see we can slide this left and right. Let's press and hold the red button and slide this bad boy off in any direction. And then voila, we have our plate. That's where we're going to put our camera. Now, if you remember, there's a screw that has grooves on it. That's where we're going to screw our camera on. And this push pin is kind of what keeps the camera there as well. It's just a little guide. So, to guide it correctly, we want to look at the bottom of our camera, and that little guy right there, is where we're going to put that grooved screw. So it should literally go, should rotate it a little bit more. You want to have it oriented to where this guy is basically going on in that point. So the push pin is a little bit behind the screw in, and it should be going just like that, okay? Just gonna help you out. So let's line up the screw in bolt with the groove that we see on the camera. All right, I've got it right there. Just like so. There we go. It has caught the groove, and now we're going to start rotating with our fingers to screw in righty-tighty the camera plate. All right. I'd say that's pretty tight. Looks good. Another thing that I would avoid as well, instead of having it centered right here, like the plate taking up the whole time, you see where my fingers are? Like adjusting the zoom and the focus might be kind of challenging because the rings are almost rubbing right up against the plate. So let's loosen this a little bit and then just slide the plate back just ever so much to where it looks like that on your camera, okay? And then once we get it to this position, then we want to screw it in, okay? Nice and tight, looks good. All right, I like that. Now I'm going to bring the tripod back. So let's go ahead and slide this guy on. Front facing just kind of like that. Line up the grooves here. And then we should hear that click. Yes?
More than one camera.
What if you want to use more than one camera?
Yeah, 'cause I just bought a Canon over the weekend, the T5.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
That's good to hear.
what if can you use two cameras with cloning, or it has to be that same one, like you said, don't move, same space, like how would that work?
Well, if you want to use two cameras, there's nothing stopping you. But the thing is that those two cameras, in order to have the same background and it for not to be a different looking shot or a different angle, it has to be pretty much in the same spot as the other camera that you set up or right next to it. So you can use two cameras. Marcus says he used two cameras. He has his own. So there's nothing stopping you from using two cameras. But yeah, you got to leave them in the same position. So it's not tough, but you can use two cameras simultaneously. It'll be not as challenging, but anyway, at a lower angle, one on the tripod. So yeah, you could do it. And Marcus's project looked good. Good question though, Tatiana. So through here we have this latch, guys, or no, the latch on the other side of the red button. The red button is right here, but the latch on the other side, this is what tightens the tripod plate. Make sure we flip that up, nice and tight, and our camera is secure. Okay? So now, I am going to go ahead and, if we remember how to balance our tripod, there's a little knob underneath here in the middle, underneath the plate. If you loosen it, then that's going to kind of basically sort of adjust the levelness of the camera shot. We can turn our camera on and look through it to see how level of a shot it looks. And I also have a guide on here that I can show you guys. And it looks pretty good. Something right about there. That's fairly level. Looks pretty level to me. So, from here, now I want to hook this camera up and show you guys how I'm going to frame these shots, okay? There we go. You guys can see me on the camera, right? All right, perfect. So now I've switched you to the camera that I just set up. Let me go ahead and adjust some shutter speed. I'm going to shoot in 1080 at 60. They're using AVC HD at 24 frames for some reason. So let me go ahead and change some of that stuff. Stabilizer, yeah, let's keep that on. Photo style standard, everything looks good. Exposure meter, let's leave that there. Eye sensor, setup. Now the setup part's going to be interesting. Live view mode is at 60 FPS. No, I don't want to do that. Let's go back to the top and record format right here. MP4. I'm not going to do AVC HD. And then from here, record quality. 1080p at 30 FPS, right there. Exposure mode. Continuous autofocus. We're looking okay. All right, so let me see if I can bring my. No, that's my shutter speed. That's my shutter speed again. I gotta go change my exposure mode. Now I can go back here. All right, my aperture is open up all the way. My shutter speed, I want to set it at 60. Let's keep it at 60. And in order to do what I need to do to get it right, let's open it up to, instead of 800, let's do 400. And then we remember how to white balance, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Nice and flat, looks good. Make sure we don't have a glare on it. Let's go to 1. Oh, there we go. Right about there. And set. Bada boom, bada bing. White balance looks good. And now let me see if I can set up 3 different shots, okay? So guys, or 3 different angles or 3 different me's. So next what we want to get into is doing the audio recording. So I want you guys to have high quality audio, okay? When it comes to doing stuff that's like really easy, there's probably easier ways to do it, but it's not something that actually uses the equipment that you guys have bought yourselves. And I don't want you to go about the rest of your lives not using the stuff that you got from school, okay? Because then it just feels like, well, why did I get this in the first place? I don't want that to happen. So in order to help out with this, let's go ahead and get our microphone set up. Plug it on the bottom right here where it says line in. Let me turn the autofocus off for a second so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. And I'm going to take this guy off so that you guys can see. Go ahead and put our microphone into where it says line in. And then screw it in, spin it to the right, screw it in so it's nice and secure. And then just to kind of give it a test run, well, I'll tuck it up in my shirt, so. There we go, it's a good manual focus. And I will run this up my polo, so I have this microphone running up my polo, and something that I'm going to do with my polo, since it's a button up right here, I'm going to put the microphone through the button up itself. Alright, so looking okay right now. This microphone is in a pretty good spot to get some decent quality audio. And instead of doing MP3 at 48K, we're going to try a different type of audio file, which is going to be a WAV file. WAV files are higher quality, and it's not going to be too bad, but it's just changing the record format, so it's not good. It's still going to be fun, trust me. So now I'm going to change the focus on here. We have our field recorder on this side over here. We have our power, so we'll just slide this guy down. And now it's turning on. One thing that I'm going to change, guys, is I'm going to go to where it says record format right here. And instead of doing MP3 at 48K, let's go up until it's not MP3 anymore. And we get to 44.1K at 16 bits, okay? And 44 at 1K at 16 bits shows that we only have 100 minutes, 28.24 seconds. Because it's a higher type of data file that's more like high quality, it requires more data. It means that we can only record less with what we have on the space on our SD card. So that's why it's different than 999 minutes and 59 seconds. So let's do that with the WAV file, okay? Yep, 44.1K, 16 bits. I put my low cut at 160 hertz, right there. And I have my limiter off. And then just recording wise, I keep it at high minus because I like that for indoor audio through this microphone for catching dialogue, okay? So, looks like it sounds good. Let's see if I can test it out with some headphones I should still have. Check, check, check. Yes, that sounds great. Awesome. I'm getting some good levels. I'm getting some good sounds. Audio sounds great. So, do we all have iPhones? I imagine a lot of us do have iPhones. Some of us may have Androids. It's okay. But when it comes to iPhones, I can show you guys where to look up something what's called voice memos, okay? Voice memos is where we record our audio on our phones, and we can listen to the way that we deliver the lines, okay? So what you guys are going to do with your iPhones is that you're going to see something right here. If you guys have an iPhone, let me see if I can turn manual focus on. So it's a little bit kind of overexposed. This iPhone right here, this is mine. So this is an iPhone 11. What I'm going to do is that you guys are going to watch me, hopefully without minimal glare. You're going to watch me take my finger just from my home screen. As soon as I unlock it, I'm just going to drag it down. And through here, I can search anything that's on my phone, anything on the internet. And what you're going to type in is you're going to type in voice memos, okay? So I just typed in voice ME or voice M, and then you'll see a utilities thing, or it's something called, it's basically an app on your phone. It says, hey, you have something called voice memos on your phone. So we're going to click on that. Hopefully we all have it installed. And we click on here. We're going to see that there's recordings that we can do. So I'll click this. New recording number 2. I'm showing my class how to actually record whatever I'm saying on my phone so that it sounds pretty clear. It has a pretty decent microphone on cell phones like this. Hopefully you guys are loud enough to where it comes through very clearly. And we're just going to listen to that test in a second, okay? So when you stop pressing the record button, it's going to show you new recording 2 and at whatever time it actually was. So mine was at 11:26 just now. So I'm going to go ahead and play it for you guys. Recording number 2. Make sure that you actually make sure that you guys actually like turn your volume up on your phone so you can hear it. 2, I'm showing my class. New recording number 2, I'm showing my class how to actually record whatever I'm saying on my phone so that it sounds pretty clear. It has a pretty decent microphone on cell phones like this. Hopefully you guys are loud enough to where... So that's how we're going to simultaneously record on here and on here. The reason why we want to record on here is so that we can hear ourselves talk and know when those pauses are so that we can actually kind of practice like, okay, this is when I'm going to deliver my line. And you can even play it and mute it when you guys are editing on Premiere Pro, okay? So, from here, let's go ahead and record. Let's see if I can do it all in one take. You might have to do multiple takes, that's okay. Let's go back to autofocus on the camera. There we go. Everything looks okay. I'm a little tall, so when I walk in right here, I'll probably be posted up right here. So as I'm looking on my camera, I know that I'm going to be in the middle right here, and then I want to have someone kind of sitting up close right here, and then I want to have another third one just kind of leaning back over here. Probably against the poster, okay? So I've created distinct areas where I'm going to keep 3 of my characters still and not like actually interact. I'm not going to reach out or reach, like this person right here is just going to stay still, and I'm not going to move my arms or do anything crazy to go into my middle character, okay? So let me go ahead and record the middle one first, all right? So from here, it's doing autofocus. Hello? Focus on my face. All right, track it back. Track it back. All right, it's starting to lose me a little bit. So if it can't pick me up, let me see if I can focus manually to where a target would be. So I want to be in focus all the way back here. I'm going to stand in the middle of my camera frame like this. So if I want to focus on my face back here, I need to see where that focus is adjusting. And if it goes to this chair, or if it goes past this chair, I need to know that I'm in between the chair or I'm right on the chair. So if I get focused up on the chair right here, more than likely I'm going to focus up on my face, okay? Because it's kind of like a target. It's like wherever something is spaced between you and the camera. So if I'm right on my chair, if I focus up on the chair and I'm right where the chair is, I should be in focus as well. So let's give that a shot. Now it got darker because I zoomed all the way in. I just turned my ISO up just to see it a little bit clearly. Let's focus up on the chair. So notice how the door is getting more blurry. That means I'm trying to focus on things closer to the camera. Notice how the door is getting clearer. That means I'm trying to focus on things past the camera or further away or past the chair. Let's get the chair right about, that's perfect focus on the chair, up virtually right about there. Let's get it right there. Let me turn my ISO down back to 400, and as soon as I zoom out, voila. All right, so I have my recording on my phone, which is, if you remember, I'm going to press that when I start recording. And let's see, 1134. All right, cool. We're doing okay. I'm gonna make sure that my field track recorder is on. It's turning on right now. All right, it still has the format there. And I'm gonna press record on 3 different things, okay guys? 3 different things. I'm gonna record on my phone, I'm gonna record on my field track recorder, and I'm gonna record on my camera, all right? So let's do camera first. It's recording on the camera, we see the red dot. And then let's record on our field track recorder. All right, we see the dot on the far right side of the field track recorder and it's counting down. So that's recording. And I'm gonna record on my phone, okay? Okay, it's recording on my phone. Now, this is to keep track of 3 different things, okay? So now I'm going to put my field track recorder here. And then the next thing that we want to do is what?
Clap.
Yep. All right, here we go. Okay, let's see. Triplets footage, middle shot, take 1. Camera rolling, sound speed. And let me see if I can make something up. Action. All right, 3, 2. Guys, we can't be sitting around here all day. All right. I mean, look at you. You're just sitting here. You're on your phone. Yeah, we are beyond lazy. Okay, we have to find something to do. Something, man. Like, I don't like. He's not even talking. He's just minding his own business. He's not productive whatsoever. And you've just been sitting there. Sure, I'm leaning, so I'm not the most like athletic, if you will, the most active. But like, come on. Now, whatever you say, but we're just gonna be sitting here, just like a bunch of duds for no reason whatsoever. And cut. All right. Stop the recording on your phone. Stop the recording on your field track recorder and the recording on the camera. Okay. Playback wise, everything should look good. All right. So notice how I am leaving my camera right where it is. I do not want to move the camera at all. Okay. It's going to make things really, really annoying and really difficult and ugly. So now I remember where I was placed right here. I can do the playback just to double check. So I'll be, let me check on that real quick. I'll unplug this and be right back. So I want to remember where I was standing. Right here. Okay, I'll be close to the avatar poster and a little bit further on the right. All right, that sounds good. Let's exit that. Let's plug this back in so you guys can see it. We're back in business. And let's hear what the audio sounded like here. Because I don't remember everything that I said. Okay, it's recording on my phone. Now, this is to keep track of 3 different things, okay? Yep. All right, here we go. Camera rolling, sound speed, and let me see if I can make something up. We can't be sitting around here all day. All right. I mean, look at. So you. As I'm listening to it, I want to find gaps in which I respond. Yeah, we are beyond lazy. Okay, we have to find something to do. All right. So as I'm shooting this, I got the audio in there. I can do the playback on my field recorder. Please tell me it captured it. I think it turned off for some reason. So please, for the love of God, tell me that it saved it, or I'm going to scream. Yep, it saved it. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's leave my camera where it is, and let me bring this chair, and I use this little outlet as like a guide of like where I want to sit in order to sort of like react to me. And I could probably be up against the wall. So if I drew a line, I put my line probably right about, it's probably right there where my hand is. So that's the barrier. I could probably cut myself off just a little bit, just to give myself a little bit more room, because I want to stand a little still and static. So through here, I'm going to just determine like, okay, this is what I want to do. Let me see if I can put it on autofocus so you guys can there you are. Come back here. All right, so here's the difficulty. if I pan to the right or to the left, or if I move my camera at all, I compromise my shot. And I do exactly what I told you guys not to do. So I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to try to just adjust the focus to where you can literally see the chair a little bit better. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm looking at the chair and I'm looking at the little holes inside of the chair to see how clearly I can see it. I think the chair is pretty clear right about there. So now let me sit back in it. And I think I'm fairly in a good level of focus right here, right? Let's give it a shot. Let's crank this bad boy all the way up. Look a little bit more in focus, right? At least it's easier to see me, correct?
Yeah, like, you're definitely lighter.
Yeah, I'm not like some dark, shadowy, suspicious figure in the night. Yeah, it's still a little noisy. Okay, so we'll try to change the focus up a little bit. Okay, that's for up close. I want to go further away. I don't want to hit the chair necessarily. Let's make the chair a little bit fuzzier. Let's go right about. And if you guys notice right there, I put the light in my shot. But if anything, I can probably leave it in there because I'm going to be standing over there. So let me set this up right here. All right, so now we're good. See how much time this is taking up? Yeah, the face does look a little flat. You're making a good observation there, Janet. That goes into the quality of the lens there. Okay, so let's see. Now we're going to reopen everything. We have our shot. Everything looks good. Let me see. Let's get our recording back up. Something that we also want to do is name that recording. So I'm gonna tap on where it says new recording and change it to middle shot, take one. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, that sounds great. And now I'm going to play it and just listen to it, okay? So that's probably good. I got a sense, I don't know if you guys can actually hear it or pick it up, but I got a sense of like the pacing and how I want to react to what I said over there. And then I did my third character over there who's just kind of minding his own business. He's not really going to say anything on this side of the frame. So just makes it a little bit easier. Let me go ahead and do this with you guys and sort of react to what I'm hearing. So, am I in better focus right here? My face does look kind of flat. I think right about there though. And let me tuck my leg down just a little bit right there, just so I can see it. Another cool thing that you guys are going to be able to do, if you have if you have that screen that I told you about, the monitor, you can get a HDMI cable, what's called a micro HDMI to regular HDMI cable, and you can hook up your camera to it so you can see everything on a bigger screen. So you can see how everything is framed. That's what I'm pretty much doing with you guys right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and record on my camera and then record on my there we go. Then I'm gonna go ahead and record on my audio recorder. All right, it's recording on my camera and it's recording on the recorder. And now I'm gonna record on my phone. Well, actually, I don't need to record on my phone because this character is gonna be interacting with me. Well, I'm gonna interact with the middle shot, okay? So now I think I'm relatively in better focus. Right about here, maybe? Yeah, right about here. That looks a little bit better. Let me try to react to it, okay? All right, before we do this, we clap. All right, right shot, okay, triplets, right shot, take 3. Or, sorry, triplets, right shot, take 1. And action. All right, and 3, 2, 1.
Sound speed. And let me see if I can pick something up. Action. All right, 3, 2. Guys, we can't be sitting around here all day. All right. I mean, look at you. You're just sitting here. You're on your phone. Yeah, we are beyond lazy. Okay, we have to find something to do.
Well, what do you want me to do? I can't.
Something, man. Like I don't like. He's not even talking. He's just minding his own business. He's not productive whatsoever, and you've just been sitting there. Sure, I'm leading, so I'm not the most like athletic, if you will, the most active, but like, come on.
All right, I'll look for something to do, I guess.
Whatever you say, but we're just gonna be sitting here, just like a bunch of duds for no reason whatsoever.
All right.
And cut.
And cut. All right, so that's what I did right there, guys, is that I recorded myself on my phone and I played it back to react to how I'm saying things a little bit easier. And so when we play it back on the field track recorder, we will hear what we'll hear the playback on our phones, but I'll show you guys how to kind of mute or denoise that when we when we edit it on Premiere Pro. Now I'm going to set up the third shot. Instead of having a chair over here, I'm going to put a chair right in the middle. And then I'm going to basically just kind of be posted up right about here. Maybe right about there. That looks good. All right, so from here, I'm going to have maybe this shot. Spin me around so you can actually light up my face a little bit, and I'll just be casual right here. Yeah, I'll just be casual right here. I rotated this light to kind of light me up, front face. The middle one is over there. Yeah, so that should look good. Now I want to frame, I want to focus up on, let's say, the avatar poster. This is where I want to be posted up just to the, probably just the, kind of like right on the poster a little bit. So remember, I use the poster as a target for my focus, and then I'm going to use it as a way that we will, that's my target as my focus, because I'm standing like in front of or right next to or right beside the poster. So if that's in focus, so I should be in focus as well. All right. Let's go ahead and do this last take. Let's record our camera. Camera is rolling. Sound is speeding. I rewound my my original take to right here. And then before we do that, I'm recording in my pocket. I'm going to put this back here. And then when I get to maybe right about there, I'm lit pretty well, you guys can see me. And middle guy's right there, the right guy's over there, okay? So now watch this. All right, should have it right here. Should look good. Everything was recording, we're good. Now we need a clap. All right, triplets, left shot, take one. And action. And 3, 2.
Action. All right, 3, 2. Guys, we can't be sitting around here all day. All right. I mean, look at you. You're just sitting here. You're on your phone. Yeah, we are beyond lazy. Okay, we have to find something to do. Something, man. Like, I don't know. Like, he's not even talking. He's just minding his own business. He's not productive whatsoever. And you've just been sitting there. Sure, I'm leading, so I'm not the most, like, athletic, if you will, the most active, but, like, come on. Now, whatever you say, but we're just going to be sitting here just like a bunch of duds for no reason whatsoever. And cut.
All right, stop recording on the audio and the video. Let me export all that. All right, the third one isn't really that important. I got the third one, so that's good to see. But the third one isn't really important because I'm not really talking the third one. That's why I wanted to do it for time purposes. Let's see if we can go back. All right. Let me go ahead and put this back on autofocus. Turning my field track audio recorder off. I'm going to turn my camera off. Back to cam 1. Okay. Let's see if I can get this going right about there. There we go. Turn my camera off. Got my SD card from my camera. Get it from my field track recorder on the right hand side of it. And take it out. There we go. I don't need this microphone right now, so we can take it off. Hopefully everything sounded good, and we'll edit around it. All right, so we have our SD cards that we're going to go ahead and insert right now. Let me do that. Okay, you just saw it pop up right there, the 16 gigabytes and the F1 SD. I'm going to go ahead and go into Finder and pop that up, and I see both my SD cards right here. This is the 16 gig one that I recorded my footage on, and we'll do not 109 but 102, Pana. These are the 3 clips that we recorded today. So one thing that we want to do to help keep them a little bit organized is to double click on them, and we can watch the video clips ourselves, and we can see which shot is where. So this is the left shot. So that's 491. That's the last 3 digits on this one. So let's say triplets, left shot, take 1. So 490 should be probably the one on the right. So I'm going to click on the left shot, take 1. I'm going to highlight this to make it quicker. I'm going to press Command C on my keyboard, and that's going to copy that. And I'm going to press and then I'm going to double click this. Well, not double click it super fast, but select it, then click on the lettering right there just once, and then press Command V, and that makes it take 1 again. But I'm going to do, instead of left shot, I'll do right shot, take 1. And then this should be the middle one. I think it's all going to come out looking good. I think everything is spaced pretty well. let's say center shot. Center shot, take one. All right, so we've labeled our video clips that we want to ingest and import, okay? Next, we want to do our audio clips. So we'll go right here into F1 SD, and when we click on F1 SD, which is from our field recorder, our audio recorder, there's a folder right there, and then these are the 3 recordings that we have. So one should probably be the center shot. All right, so we have the audio there. It's going to use probably Apple Music or something else to play your audio. So that's the center shot. So I'm going to press Command V again. Triplets, let's say center shot, just to line it up. And then select this one. If we play this one, it should be the middle one. So notice how you don't really see anything pop up like, wait, how is this playing it? Going down to the taskbar, guys, when you see these little dots underneath these applications, it means that they're running and they're working. So I'm going to click on music and you're going to see it. There it is, right there. So that's the right shot. Command V, instead of left shot, let's say right shot. And then that makes this the left shot, but I don't really have any audio in the left shot. To help sync up my actions with what goes on in the audio from the very first center take that we had, the center shot, let's just sync it up anyway, because you can synchronize like my reactions to the person in the middle so that it's a little bit easier to do that, okay? So let's go ahead and label that triplets left shot, take one. There we go. Okay, so now we have everything labeled. Let's go ahead and start up Premiere Pro. First thing that we want to talk about, guys, is creating the proper project name and the project file that we're going to have. Let's store it instead of, I know that we're traditionally used to doing it on our desktop. Let's make sure that we're storing it in like our documents, because I think that having a cleaner desktop is something that you guys should get used to. It helps maintain organization, helps keep things nice and clean, and it's something that we should really try to aim towards, because the more organized that we are, the faster we get our work done, okay? So from here, we're going to go to the top left and click New Project, and then this is going to prompt up. Let's go ahead and name this Triplets Clone Masking. And so we give it a name right here, and then right underneath the name it says location. So we're gonna store it somewhere. Instead of the desktop, let's store it on, let's click Browse over here. So we'll click Browse. And then when we click Browse, we'll notice that there are different file folders that we can store it in. I can put it in my drive if I wanted to. I just have to click and highlight my drive, which is Will Bowden. But let's go ahead and put it in the Documents section. And then from the Documents section on our computer, let's go ahead and we can actually we can create a new folder if we wanted to, or we can just save it in Documents and we should be able to find it. Now this is going to be our Premiere Pro project file, which if you see right here from these project files, it has the little purple PR. That is your project. Your project is every edit you've ever made, every effect, every cut, every trim, all the things that you guys have done with your video and your audio and your effects too. That is not your video. That is not what you guys would submit to me. That is not what you guys are going to post. It ends with PROJ, which stands for Premiere Project. If it ends with .PROJ, then that is not what you are going to submit for Microsoft Stream or Canvas or anything else like that, okay? That's not your final video. I want you guys to remember that. It has to end in .mp4, okay? So we're going to save it to Documents. We'll go down to here to click Choose. All right, Triplets Clone Masking, the name of the project. It's going to save to Documents, and then we're going to click OK. And now it's going to prompt this up for us. And bada bing, bada boom. All right, this is our project for Triplets Clone Masking. Now, first thing that we're going to do is, since we're using a Mac right now, we're going to press Command and then I. The reason why is because we're going to import our footage and our video and audio. That prompts this folder up here. So it's already been selected on F1 SD, which is our micro SD that recorded our audio. So we could import our audio first if we wanted to. So you guys can, if you have a list like this that isn't extremely long and you can find like an empty space underneath or on top of it, we can click the bottom down here, click and hold it, and then drag it up, and then you can highlight all the sources right there. So three audio samples that we're going to take that we're going to patch to our video. So import this. It's going to import our audio right here. Now we're going to press Command I one more time, and we're going to go to our SD card that we had in our camera. It may have a different name, but this is mine. And then I'll go to DCIM. I'll go to Pana. Might be a different folder for you guys, but these were the shots that we actually named, if you remember. So from here, I'll just click on the bottom and highlight. Or instead of doing that, I can go to the top, highlight that one, hold down Control and Shift on my keyboard, and then click the last one on the list, and it highlights everything from the beginning to the end, okay? And then we'll click Import. So we have our video and we have our audio imported. All right, so I'm gonna customize this a little bit, and I'm gonna wait for my cursor. As you guys see at the highlighted of my mouse where my cursor is, every time you guys go somewhere, you may find yourself highlighting on something, or your mouse may change. So I can go up here and adjust this up and down, or I can go right here and adjust this left and right. It's important you guys remember this. I'm going to adjust it to compress it to this, okay? So let's go ahead and take all of our video on here. So I'm going to press Control Shift. No, I think I have to go. In order to do multiple ones, it might be Command Shift. Yeah. Okay, so on Premiere Pro, instead of doing Control Shift, it's Command Shift. So I want to import all three of these video files. So I'll highlight this one, and then I'm going to select the third one. After I press and hold Command Shift, then it highlights all three. I'm going to click and hold and drag it to the timeline. Oh, you have to go over here. You have to click on these boxes. I forget sometimes. And then bada bing, bada boom. We are looking at all of our video clips. That's 1, that's 3 probably. That's our center shot. This is our left shot, and the other one is our right shot, okay? Now to zoom out on it, guys, you guys remember that to zoom out on it, we remember that it is the plus and the minus button at the top right of our keyboard that zooms in to show us frame by frame how this is affected. And then minus is to zoom out, and we can see minute by minute, second by second, however long our timeline actually is, okay? Now I'm going to hover right above over V1, and then I wait until my cursor changes like this, and then I click and hold and drag it up, and now I can see the thumbnails of my videos. And then I'm going to do the same with A1. I'm going to drag it down. From here, remember we want to get a better audio than what we got from the camera, so I'm going to hover over in this negative gray space, click and hold and drag and highlight all three of these. And then I want to right click and then scroll down to the drop down arrow. It's going to get bigger, and then we'll have the option to unlink right here. Now our video is separate from our audio, and I'll do the same thing that I did to highlight all of them, but I'll just stay down here with the audio. And I'll click and hold and drag it to the right, or drag it to the left, excuse me. Now from there I have my audio highlighted, and I'm going to go ahead and delete those. Now I'm going to space these out a little bit so I can work on matching and syncing up my audio. So from here, since we labeled them correctly, this is, if we can read right here, triplets center shot take 1, and I labeled my audio right here in green, triplet, center shot, take one as well. So this should correspond with this. Now we're going to find the clap. In order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit, pressing the plus button on my timeline. And I'm going to watch myself on the video right here. I'm going to watch myself as I click and hold this blue marker and drag it from the left to the right. It scrolls through my video. If I hold it to the right, it goes by a little bit faster, and then where it is? Oh, there it is right there. That's me clapping. Now I'm gonna press plus on the keyboard to zoom in a little bit more. And then as I break it down kind of frame by frame, let me make this a little bit bigger. As I break it down frame by frame, comes in contact right there. Now I need to highlight my video clip by clicking on the video 1 source right here. This is what we're looking at right now. So I have found the exact moment in which my hands come together to clap. Now I want to add a marker. To do that, I just press M on the keyboard, and then it creates a little marker right here in green. So if I want to adjust or change all of that, then I can go to the right here. Before we do that, I want you guys to make sure of one thing, okay? I want you to go to the very top of your screen, and I want you to click where it says window, okay? Up here, it says window. I want you to go to workspaces right underneath that, and then I want you to make sure that all panels is selected, okay? If you have any of these other panels selected, you will not see what you see on my screen, okay? All panels. Now, back to the marker that we were talking about. The marker's right here. I want to make it a better color that contrasts. So let's go ahead and make it white. So in order to find it, I go to the right hand side of my screen and I click where it says markers right here. On markers, it actually detects and it says, hey, this is the green marker that you put in. In order to adjust it, I'm going to double click it, and then it's going to prompt this little window up for me. I'm going to change the color from green to white, and then I'm going to give the name of it to center shot clap, all caps there. Center shot clap, that's what I'm going to name it. So, okay. Now, I think the audio isn't working that well to where you guys can hear everything play out. I'm gonna have to export it with you guys when I'll have to export it and send the audio out to you guys, because for some reason it's not capturing what's coming through on the computer, but it's okay. I'll time it out according to how I can hear it, and I'll find the clap myself, okay? So it looks like right here, if I zoomed out with the minus key on the top right of my keyboard, it looks like right about here, this skinny high and sudden peak is where my clap is. I'm going to play it. Press the space bar to play. There it is. That is the clap right there. So in order to get that exact moment, I'm going to press the plus button until I cannot press the plus button anymore. And here's where we're going to isolate and match up our audio with our video, okay? We're almost there. We want to drag our blue timeline holder right here, click and hold it, and I want you to drag it until you hear that clap. We can probably put it right about there. So now, in order to put another marker that's going to help us sync up our video and our audio, we need to make sure that we have our audio clip highlighted right here. Click that, and what are we going to do? We're going to press M on our keyboard, and we've created another green marker down here. Let's make it white again. And then after we did that, it already popped up in the marker tab that we opened right here. So let's double click it, and let's create a white one right here. Let's put center shot, clap, audio. We'll label it that right there, and we'll click OK. Now here comes the best part. We've made our job a lot easier now. So we're going to click on our timeline again right here, and then we're going to press the minus button on our keyboard and zoom out a little bit. And we see that we have a white marker down here and a white marker right there. This is how we're going to align and sync up our video with our audio. Literally just click and hold and drag to the right until it lines it up for you and you see that little black line pop up. That's Premiere Pro detecting like, hey, you have two markers on two different sources. Do you want to line these up? It's like, yeah, I do. And then watch the magic.
Footage, middle shot, take one.
Audio perfectly synced up now. All right, that's it for the center shot. Now we need to do it for the left shot and the right shot. We can do the right shot because I don't talk on the left shot. So let's go ahead and zoom out with our minus key on the keyboard. Let's trim this up a little bit. So I'm going to take the beginning and then we'll clean it up a lot better right now. But if we want to link these guys, we need to hover in like a gray negative space up here, and we need to click, hold, and drag down to the bottom left to where this box that we're creating and adjusting highlights both this video and the audio source. From there, we right click on our mouse, then we scroll down a little bit, just hover right here and it gives you the options, and then we link these two. Then right there, boom, they are together. Doesn't matter if you click the video or the audio, they are together, so that's good to see. Now, we're going to do the same thing with the right shot. If I wanted to go ahead and help take this away and make this a little bit, start it where it needs to start, then I can go ahead and trim all the like pre-production or the pre-sound and the pre-recording stuff.
3, 2.
So right about here is when I start. Give myself a couple of time of space, and then from here I'll zoom out a little bit with the minus key on the top right of the keyboard. And then when I come over here, guys, on the timeline, my cursor turns into a red arrow. This means that I can extend it either to the left or to the right. I can lengthen or shorten it depending on what type of video I have. Now let me shorten it all the way right here. And then let me go to the end of the clip, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit with the plus at the top right of the keyboard. And then the end of the video is right about here.
Like a bunch of duds for no reason whatsoever. And
All right, that's where I stop it. That's where I say and say the cut. And let's hover my mouse until it gets to a red cursor, and then boom, shorten that right there. And then from here, we're going to press minus on the keyboard, zoom out a little bit, and just for the heck of it, let's go ahead and drag this all the way to the beginning. Keep it nice and neat, sorry. Keep it nice and neat and organized right here. And that's our center shot. Now we have our left shot and our right shot. Let's do our right shot real quick. Let's zoom out by pressing minus on the keyboard until we can see all the shots right there. And let's go ahead and sync up the right shot, okay? Now the audio is in green over here, and let's drag the green square, which is our audio, over to the triplet right shot, take one. Now, from here, let's zoom in so we can get a better view of how to sync up the clap.
it's on hold. Okay. Alright, it's recording on my camera, and it's recording on the
I'm listening to it.
and now I'm going to record on my phone. Well, actually, I don't need to record on my phone.
I found the clap right here. It's usually a very thin, skinny, and tall peak, guys, where you can find the clap. All kind of by itself, okay? That's usually where you should have it. Give yourself some silence, like maybe 1 or 2 seconds before you actually clap. That way it's easier to kind of spot when you guys are editing down here, okay? So from here, I know where the clap is on the audio. Let me go ahead and press plus on my keyboard. Let's go all the way here. See how I'm dragging the timeline all the way to the left again, and then just pressing the space button to play it. Right about there is where the actual clap happens. I want to make it white again just so it's easy to pick up. And let's say right shot clap audio. That's where that marker is. And now I need to look at my video up top here that we see. Zoom out a little bit. There's the clap right there. So let's break it down frame by frame. Zoom in all the way with the plus button, the top right of the keyboard. Let's break it down frame by frame. My hand pretty much comes in contact right about there. And so make sure we click and highlight our blue video source up here, V1. This is highlighted. And now let me press M. And then it created a marker up here for the clap. Let's double click this. And now up here, I click the marker. Let's double click the marker. And then we're going to name it right shot clap. Let's make it a white color. And then click OK. From here, go back to the timeline, click on the timeline there, and then zoom out with the minus button. And then easy peasy, drag it over to the left, and then whoops, right there we see a black line. Should automatically line up those two markers. And now our video is synced. Synced up perfectly.
And action. Right. And 3, 2.
And then the point where I actually start to basically record myself is about here.
2.
Okay. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, guys. And I haven't done one thing yet, but I'm making it fit a little bit more. Let me highlight both of these. Clicking in a negative space over here, this gray space, and dragging and clicking and holding and dragging it down to the bottom left to create a little box that highlights both the video and the audio. And then right click. Then link. And now our video and audio are linked. And right about here is where I want to start my video. So now let me zoom out the minus key. Let's go right here until it turns red and it hovers red as our mouse. And drag it over to the right. There we go. Let's see where the ending is. Right before I say and cut on the phone, I can hear it there. I'm going to hover here till it turns red. Drag it over here. And now the right shot is edited, okay? So we're looking good so far. We've done number 3, number 2, or we've done number 1, and we've done we've done the center and the right shot. The left shot, I don't really have any audio to go with that. So I'm not going to attach any audio with it. That's just going to be some extra work there. So to talk about the layers that we're going to have, there's things that we have to consider, okay? We have to look how each shot is framed, the distinct lines between all of my characters, and what I need to cover up or what needs to be in this and what needs to be like included in the frame. So for example, I'll show you guys right here. If you remember, we had to move the light that I use to kind of illuminate me a little bit more because I was too far away. So this light is standing right here. this light is standing right here, but in the left shot where I stand on the left of the frame, that light is not there anymore. It's still creating a light source so that I'm fully lit, but that light is not there in this shot, and I don't want it to be there. Same goes for this one. This shot, I don't have a light source on either side because I'm fairly lit decently over in like the middle of the frame here. So I want this to be taken out, okay? I don't want this shot. I haven't moved my camera whatsoever, guys, so that's a good thing. That's going to prevent me from having to deal with like different angles. Now, I'm just going to create 2 simple masks, okay? Now that I think about it, I remember that we wanted to sync the audio so that my timing of my reactions to listening to it are pretty authentic and on time. So let's go ahead and sync up this this audio with this video. But we'll detach it later, okay? All right, right. So I'm pressing left and right on the bottom right of my keyboard to go back and forth. I'm going forward 1 frame and back 1 frame. So this is the slow. These are all the frames of still images that come together to make this video. And then right there is when I would say the clap happens. So even at this distance, even though I'm not zoomed in all the way, I'm going to go ahead and still make a marker with the M key on my keyboard, M. And then I'm going to double click the marker over here. Let's make it white. Let's name it left shot clap. Okay. Now let's bring the triplets left shot audio over here. And let's listen out for this audio here. I'm going to zoom in with the plus key on the top right of my screen. And I think I found it right here. It's this tiny, really skinny, small peak. I heard it after I heard the word action. Here we go. And I'm like, okay, so that's pretty close to where I need to be. Let's zoom in, the plus key. And then I almost have it right on board. Then as I zoomed all the way in here, pressing the plus button as much as I could. Right there is where I hear that clap. I click and highlight my audio. Press the M key, double click the marker over here, make sure that we have the marker tab selected, make it white, and give it a name, left shot, clap, audio, click OK, and let's drag it over to the left until it lines up right there with the black line that we see, let go, and now it's in sync. That's right there is where I start talking on the phone, which is the recording from me being in the center shot. So from here, I'm actually going to trim this clip down to that point. I'm going to click on my timeline, press the minus button to zoom out. I'm going to drag this all the way over to the right. Actually, real quick, let me link this real quick. Highlight both of these, right click, link. Drag it over here. That's where the clip starts. Now notice how when I linked it, guys, it's going to subtract the it's going to subtract more of the audio even though it's not fully like aligned with one another. So to avoid that, that's why I tell you guys to kind of fix it before we do that, because if we unlink it again, then I can drag this guy to better match the audio. And then let's relink it. Highlight, link. Okay, so let's zoom out a little bit. All of my clips are synced up with their audio, so that the acting based on the recording that I had from my phone earlier should be pretty accurate. It should be pretty on point. Okay, so All right, we've got everything over here to the right, and actually, guys, because we want our middle shot to be like the foundation, we're gonna put the center shot on 1, and then we're gonna put the right shot on 2, and then we're gonna put the left shot on 3, okay? So let's go ahead and rearrange that, okay? So center shot right here, I have it highlighted. Bring it down, let's bring A1 right there. Let's put the right shot over the center shot. Bring it to here. Here we go. And then the left right here, if you guys are looking at my camera, the left right here is on layer 3, that's on top. If we're looking down on it, we see layer 3 first, and then we're gonna see layer 2, which is the right, and then we're gonna see layer 1, which is the middle on the bottom. So that's how we're looking at it in the 3-dimensional sense. Now we're going to create masks, okay? So let's go ahead and create masks by using, let's start and do layer 3. So from here, guys, you can actually scroll up and down if you guys want to with the scroll wheel on your mouse, or you can come over here and scroll up and down by clicking this bar, clicking and holding it and dragging it. That shows you more sources that you can add. You can add another video source if you wanted to do 4 or 5 of you guys in one big giant shot. It's possible, but let's just stick with 3 right now, okay? So from here, we've layered it. Left is on 3, right is on 2, and center is on 1. So let's go ahead and start off with left, okay? I only want to see a little bit of left. If I'm looking at V1, I think it looks okay here. But let's go ahead and double click and see left right here. So let's draw it at the door. All right, or maybe at the wall. Yeah, let's do it at the wall. Okay. So I've double clicked on my triplets left shot in V3, video 3. If you double click on it, then you're going to come up to the top left where you see effect controls, and then this is going to change what you guys see on your program. You're going to see it's an effect that you guys are going to apply where we're going to mask. And in order to see it in effect first, if you wanted to see it actually work, make sure you click on the top right here where it says Program Triplets Right Shot Take 1. This is the entire overview of everything that you guys are seeing, okay? So we want to take out V. Let me bring this back a little bit. I just realized at the beginning right here, there's a couple of frames that the left shot doesn't come in. The reason why it's not doing that is because my audio source that we linked up, guys, is not fully in line with the video source. So we have to unlink them. Relink it right here. It'll make a black line and let you know it's on the same page. Then we have to relink them. Command Shift. So in order to select 2 different things, if you have like a lot of space and a lot of sources in between, holding down Command and Shift on your keyboard and selecting both of them. So if I select my A1 right here, you're like, wait, if you highlight this, then you'll highlight everything. Like, no, yeah. But to do it separately, click A1, hold down Command Shift, and then click, or A3, and then click V3, and then you have only selected those 2 sources. Now we want to link them. Here we go. Let's bring it to the beginning. Good job. There we go. So from here, let's go ahead and apply a mask to V3, okay? Let's double click V3, and then we want to go to Effect Controls, and then through here, Opacity. The effects opacity right here is where we're going to have our masks. All right, guys? Now, let's go ahead and let's just do a simple rectangular mask, okay? Instead of free drawing one, we can do a simple rectangular mask. When you guys do that, as you go along this line, you're going to see, wait a minute, where's that mask coming from? Well, when I create that mask, that's what I want to show from V3. So, in order to accurately draw and show everything that you guys want to see in frame, let's see this side of V3. So I found myself over here. Now, to make this a lot easier for everybody, we have highlighted our program panel right here, and this is highlighted. So if we remember, there's a little squiggly key on the top left of our keyboard. When we click that, it full screens whatever panel, whether it be timeline, whether it be program, whether it be preview or source, or whether it be our media bins or anything like that. What we want to do is we want to make this a full screen because it's going to make it easier to edit it. So press the squiggly key that's next to the escape button on the top left of your keyboard. When you highlight this, it makes it full screen. There we go. Now from here, we can take these different points that you see on your mask and stretch it out accordingly. So to make it a little bit easier as well, it automatically fits what we see in our video source in the program panel. To make this simpler, let's click on the word fit down here, and then we want to go to, let's do 50%. And now if we do 50%, it zooms out a little bit and it makes it easier for us to complete where our mask needs to go, off screen a little bit. So watch. We're going to drag this corner over here, click, hold, and drag. And now that goes off our screen a little bit. Let's take this corner over here, click, hold, and drag that. That looks good. I think it's in line with the door. And then let's go to this corner down here, click, hold, drag it all the way down. And then that looks good right there. And then let's get this one last corner right here. Click, hold, drag all the way to this corner. And then boom, we have masked V3 on top of V2. So we only see this portion of V3. V2 is right here, and then behind V2 is V1. So we'll create a mask for V2 next, and then we'll see V1 pop up. So we've created that mask successfully. As you guys click on the line itself, if you're not clicking these specific points in these corners, you're adding more and more dots, which complicates your mask entirely. And you don't want to end up with something that looks like this because it's messy and it's unneat, and it's the same thing that I did though with the conversation that I had with myself where I was wearing the white jacket. I had to do this because my face and my hands were constantly changing throughout the video itself, okay? And so because of that, I was moving kind of left and right, and I had to do keyframes, which is why I had to create multiple points, because I had to essentially draw an outline of my body so that I could mask everything and get the shadows just right on all of it, okay? So I'm going to go right here, and in order to delete that, I think you just press Command delete. So if you guys are using mask, you hold Command down, and then you hover above the point that you made, and then it's going to give you a little minus sign next with this little pen. If you hold down Command, just click with the left click, and then it deletes that. And so our mask is back to where we had it before. Okay. So now to get out of this large screen here and create a mask for number 2 instead of doing number 3, let's press the squiggly key at the top left of our keyboard. And now we're back to where we need to be. Oh, wait, it's at 50% though. Let's click this, and let's click Fit. There we go. Much better. Looks a lot better. So we've done that for layer 3, our V3, me on the left. Now we need to do it for me on the right. Oh. What I did there is that I accidentally pressed the C key when we were testing something out, and it cut a video, it cut video 2 right here because I selected the razor tool right here, which is C. I need to have the selection tool. So in order to undo that, I press and hold Command on my keyboard and then Z, and then it takes that cut away. So now let's press V on our keyboard because that's our selection tool. And that is, then we've taken that away. So from here, we want to go down to V2, which is going to be the next source. So I'm already there. I've got twins, but I need to make triplets. Here's how we're going to do it. So V2, this is me on the right. You already see me on the left. So let's double click on V2. So now I'm in the preview with V2, and I can do effect controls that's specific to V2. And now I can apply my own mask to V2 because it's still highlighted. So for here, we're going to click create a 4 polygon mask. And then all of a sudden I pop up in the middle there. Oh, that's so cool. There we go. All right, let's make this a little bit easier. So this is already highlighted, so I can press the squiggly key on my keyboard. Makes it bigger, easier to look at, easier to manage. And now let's go ahead and put this guy right here. Let's drag these 4 corners. Oh, wait, it's going out of the frame there, and I want to keep it intact. Like, I want to still see it out of the frame. So let's go to the bottom left and click 50%. And then let's drag it over here. That corner right there. This corner over here. Make it a little bit more straighter. This corner goes all the way up here. And then this corner comes all the way down here. All right, and that's V2, that's V3, and there's V1. So let's press the squiggly key once more. Saving my project. Let's click this right here and make it fit. And boom, all 3 of my guys are there. So they're looking pretty good. One thing that we can do though is that if I just scroll through, you'll notice that there might be a little bit of a lighting difference, so you can add a feather to right there. It's a lot easier to pick out now. So if I clicked where you see reference, so if I basically didn't see the program feed up here and you clicked where it says reference, then you're going to see that line that mask creates. We want to soften that line up a little bit. So let's bring it over to the left to maybe right about there, and let's soften it up with the feather. So let's go back to program, and then I'm going to highlight this and I'll press the squiggly key again, and then I'll press 50% over here. Let's drag this guy right there, and you right there. There we go. Sweet. Now, let's press the squiggly key once more, make it fit, and then over here to the left we're going to go back to Effect Controls where we are, and then we're going to go down to Mask 1 because Mask 1 is this mask that we applied right there. And then we're going to go to Mask Feather, click on the blue numbers that you see here, and then you're going to click, hold, and drag, and you're going to see how intense you can make the feather or how it's only going to touch up just a little bit there. Let's put it right about there and let's see what it looks like. That looks a lot more natural and normal, right? Cleaned it up a lot more. It doesn't look like a distinct line where you see like oh, there's a hard shadow right here, but I don't know what's going on. Looks a lot more clean. So we've gotten the masking down pretty well. I think we've eliminated what we need to do with like having triplets in the shot. So everything it looks pretty solid right now. I don't think I need to put a mask on layer 3. It looks good as is. And now we want to go ahead and sync up like the dialogue with each other. Okay, so this might be another challenge in of itself, but listen, nothing worth doing is easy, right? So let's see. So I'm going to listen to the audio here. So as I'm listening to the audio here, I determine when I say we can't be sitting around, because when I hear we can't be sitting around, I want to sync that up. So how I'm going to hear that is I'm going to basically create more markers, guys. So check this out. So A1 is where I actually say it, and then A2 is where I hear it again, A3, I want to link up A1, A2, and A3 together. Let me zoom in with the plus key on the top right. Right here on A1 is where I'm going to make another marker. And let's make it a different color besides white. Let's click this and let's make it M. And okay, I made it on V1 instead of A1. That's okay, because these clips are linked. This one has no name. Let's make it red. I'll put it as start A1 or start I'll put it as start right here. So start. I'll go back to the beginning here. Let's scroll down. Where I hear guys is I hear guys right here, which is highlighted. It's on A3. That's where I get this. That's where I hear guys. So I'm going to create another marker. Press M. That's not what I wanted. That's in a different zone. That's in a different area. I'm going to unlink these two. So I'm going to unlink video 3 with A3 so that I can create this marker right here. They're still on the same that we have starting right here, but I wanted to create a start with this guy. So it's unnamed. Let's go ahead and add it as red. Let's click it at, let's label it as start. So that's where this clip starts, and then on video 2 and A2, that's where I want to know where this one starts. I'm going to go ahead and mute. So if I click the M on my audio sources, I'm going to mute the ones that I don't want to hear. If I find it right here where I say guys, I'm going to zoom in with my plus button. Right where I say guys, right about there on A2, that's where I want it to line up. So for here, let me add a marker. Okay, it was on V2. It's a green one. Let's double click it, make it red. Let's label it as start. Now I'll have red markers on, sorry, I'm just going through, let me zoom all the way out. I have 3 different red markers, okay guys? We see them, one right here, we see another one right here, and we see another one right there. So I have the audio synced up. Now I need to sync up the start of the video clips themselves, okay? So let's go ahead and do that with, let's go ahead and do that with V3 going to V2, okay? So as we drag it over, it's gonna auto find it like, oh, that's the marker you want. Right there. Okay, those two red are lined up. Now we need to line this one up with the other three, or with the other two, right there. There we go. Looks like A2 might have been unlinked. So now I need to go. Now I need to bring A2 back. So let's Command Z and undo that stuff. Interesting. Oh no, that's right. It's sorry. A2 is fine where it's at. All right. So okay. So now I have both of these. Now I have both of the markers highlighted right there with the black line. Means those line up. And okay, it should all start and begin in the same sequence. Okay. So now let's go to the beginning here. Let me go ahead and mute A3, but let's bring back A1, okay? And let me make this a big screen with the squiggly line, and let's watch it, okay? It should all be synced together. All right, and then it kind of cuts out right there, and then we need to know what the endpoint is, okay? So let's press the squiggly line so we can zoom out there. It is synced up. The acting and the delivery of the lines and everything, it all looks good. So now that this is synced up right here, let me basically trim everything else around it. So let's go to this little negative space right here. Let me highlight all that and let's bring it up to speed. No, I don't want to highlight that. Let's do individual sources, okay? So video 2, which is synced with A2, let's bring it up here. And then video 1, let's bring it up there. And then video 3, or A3, we can just take A3 out because we don't need that audio anymore. So we've deleted A3. And then video-wise, it's all synced up. We're looking good. I'm going to hover over this and bring this down a little bit. Right there. And now these two disappear. I want to go ahead and bring video 3 back there so it's at least a little lined up. I'll zoom in here. Let's line that up right there. All right, everything should be in sync. I'll watch it again one more time, okay? Click the squiggly line. So now, it actually sounds really great. I can't really pick up what the audio coming from my phone is, but we do need to know how to isolate that. One thing that we're going to do, guys, since all of this is really well put together, I'm going to highlight all of it from the top where V3 is. So click and hold in the gray space, drag all the way down, and it's all linked together. And let's bring it to the very beginning of our video, okay? There we go. And now the video starts and ends just the way it should be. So now we need to hear and we need to isolate, like, okay, A1 is fine because A1 is when I recorded my audio on my phone as well. A2, however, you might be able to pick up and hear some of my phone playing back because I'm trying to time myself reacting to what I hear or what I say from the audio in A1. So let's go ahead and zoom in. Let's click in this gray area to only focus on whatever we want to focus on. A1 is okay. A2, however, we need to see if we can hear that. So let's mute A1 with the M mute track right here. And let's only hear to A2. So I can hear through the headset right here. I can hear my audio through my coming from my phone being recorded in A2 on the audio recorder. Now, with that, it's in sync with my audio 1 levels, so you can't really detect it when I play it back. But just to eliminate that and make sure that it's not too loud or it doesn't give you like this echoey reverb effect, we're going to isolate when I need to actually hear A2, which is right here. This is when I actually deliver a line on A2. So everything before A2 doesn't need to be in there because it's delivering a dialogue that I only did with A1. So as A1 ends right here and A2 picks up, I don't need the beginning of A2. So let's go ahead and take this right here and cut it, and let's press C on the keyboard. That gets the razor, the cut tool, and we'll cut. No, don't do that. Okay, let's undo it again. Command Z, sorry. Let's press V on the keyboard, make sure it's our selection tool. And we're gonna click triplets right shot, take one. Let's highlight, let's make sure we get the right shot, and then let's highlight it and right click it, and then let's unlink it. Because everything's okay right now, we don't wanna click or drag anything out of whack. And then let's just click audio 2, and then we'll press C on the keyboard, and then we'll just cut audio 2. Because if you noticed, since audio 2 and video 2 are linked, if I cut audio 2, then it's going to cut video 2 as well. So let's just keep it a little bit cleaner. And then let's press V for selection. And then from here, guys, we can actually have A2 highlighted. Let's press G on the keyboard. G is our audio gain. So we can actually, you can adjust the noise of your, you can adjust the noise of your audio just by bringing down like the actual gain, if you will, and you can decrease it, like let's say -15. That decreases the volume like severely. But I want to eliminate it entirely. We can delete it if we wanted to, but let's bring it. Let's actually. Let's bring it down a little bit more. You can press G and get there. Or you can take this line that you guys see and you can click and hold this line and drag it all the way down to where it almost completely mutes it. It's this little line that you guys see that's horizontal. If you click and hold this, it can adjust your gain automatically through there. Like you can increase it if you want it to sound a little bit louder. Even though it may not be that strong, the reason why is because if we press G again, it still has that gain set to -15. So let's put it back to 0 by clicking Set Gain To and double clicking this and pressing 0. And then the volumes are back to normal, right about there. And then I can actually increase the volume of it with this line by bringing it up if I wanted to. And that makes it a little bit louder. So let's bring it back down to 0. I'm gonna go ahead and actually take this line and show you guys another neat trick as well. You can actually increase and decrease a consistent audio level according to your liking by using the pen tool that we have right here, guys. So the pen tool allows us to make points. If you notice this pen tool, it allows us to do the same thing that we do with masks, where we can add points. And to do that, we can literally take this pen tool and go to this line that we see right here, and as soon as it has a plus sign on our mouse cursor, it allows us to add different points. I can do 2 right here, and I can make this one start really low, and then all of a sudden it just picks up gradually back up over time, and then it stays at that consistent level. Or I can add another pen right here and then bring this down and have the noise only peak up right here and then go right back down. Or I can add multiple ones and play around with it. Have some fun. Do something kind of wonky a little bit, you know? Anything like that. So that's possible, but that's what the pen tool does. So if you hear a noise that you're like, oh, I really want to hear this, peak it right there if it's not too loud, or if it's not loud enough, and then bring it back down. That's how we can manipulate sound in just one aspect of Premiere Pro. And adding these points can really help out with what you guys can master, just more like on editing. So I'm highlighting these points and I'm dragging them all the way down because I really don't want to hear this. It's unnecessary. But to kind of fade in the beginning of this, I'm going to add 2 points right here where the beginning sort of picks up gradually and then you hear it. And then here's the tricky part that we're also gonna look into, okay? So I hear myself clearly on A2 right here. So right there we'll add another point. This right here, guys, is A1 coming from my phone. So we'll bring that point back down a little bit. Let's add 2 points right here. And then the second one, we'll bring this down. Let's add another point right here. And let's see what that sound is. We'll add 2 points because if you want to gradually peak it and rise it while it stays kind of low, you guys need to add 2 points there. And just drag them and customize them there. There we go. I smack my lips right here. So from here, I want to bring it back down here. Let's add 2 points right here. Bring this back down. And then I see my voice come up here again. Let's add 2 more points, bring it up. And right there, and let's add 2 more points, bring it back down. I'm zooming out with my minus key on the keyboard. I see another peak right here where I might talk. Let's add 2 points. Bring it up. It's only right about there where I actually say something. Let's drag these points a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we did the audio for everything. Everything looks good, guys. We've done the points correctly. The timing should be on. I'm just going to save this real quick. So we're going to go up to File on the top left here. Click that, and then we're going to click Save. So it's saving all of the edits and everything that we've done, guys. I'm going to watch it one more time, listening to it on my headphones, and then I'm going to export it and send it to you guys. So let's click here. Let's click the squiggly line so that we can bring it to full screen, and let's watch it in full. Oh, the reason why I'm not hearing it, I pressed the squiggly line again, is that I muted A1. So let's unmute A1. So let's click this again, squiggly line. Audio sounds good, video sounds great. Okay. We have everything synced up. It stopped right there. It's a good ending. Let's go ahead and begin exporting, guys. We already saved it. Everything looks great. So in order to export it just through Premiere Pro itself, we go up here to the top left, we click File, and then we go to Export right there, and we're going to export the media. And then when we're exporting our media, guys, we got to make sure about specific settings, okay? Specific settings we're going to have. And in order to do this, I told you guys that this is your in and your out point. If we have a bunch of other clips to the right of here that we forgot to delete and take out, it's still going to keep that on our timeline and stuff that we want to render. And so in order to eliminate that, guys, that's where we set our in and our out points. So this blue timeline marker is exactly the same as what we see on our timeline when we're editing, and it scrolls through everything that we see on this video. If you guys had like a lot of empty space here on the right of your timeline, and then you had a video clip or a soundbite or two, then it's going to show you just black as you scroll through near the end of your video. And then if it's an audio clip, you won't see anything else except a black. But then you'll hear, if you play the video back and I've listened to the whole thing, then I'll hear like a ah or something, some random audio bite out of nowhere. And the same thing can be said about another picture or a video. So we make sure that we set the right in and out points, okay? So this is the beginning of the video. I like this in point. And then as I scroll through, this is everything that needs to be said and done. And then this is the out point of our video. So it all looks good. If you reach a certain point, guys, where you see a lot of black in this area, and you're like, I don't know what that's doing here, but I know that this is the end of my video, then you can set the out point with this little triangle right here. It says set out point. And then where you are exactly on your timeline is where it's gonna finish processing and rendering and exporting your video. And if you're like, oh, well, I know I want to start over here and I have no idea what all this crap is on the left-hand side, then that's your endpoint, and you can set your endpoint right there. So it'll detect where your marker is, and it's like, okay, that's where my video begins. But I clean it up on the timeline, and I don't leave any trash on there that I forget about, so that when I export it, it's exactly what I want it to be. So let's take our endpoint and go back to the beginning of our sequence, take our out point and go back to the end, and that's everything that I want to see. And then fit is good. Entire sequence, like I said, guys, entire sequence. If we left any trash in there that we forgot about, then it's going to export that. That's why we do sequence into out occasionally. But if you guys know that you're neat, you're organized, and you didn't forget to take out unwanted video and audio sources, then you can do entire sequence. But then we're going to go over here to the settings that we want to have. So matching sequence settings is a good box to check off, but we want to make sure that we're doing everything the right way. So our format should be H.264, not Blu-ray, not HEVC, not QuickTime, not PNG, none of that. H.264, that's MP4. And then match source high bit rate. Out of all these different presets that you could have, we just want to match the source so that our video that's being processed and rendered is basically exported in the same way and it looks the same and it doesn't look any different. Now we come down to where we see output name in blue lettering. When you click on this, what I see from a lot of people's projects is that I see P00-1 through 76548.mp4, and that's you guys forgetting to name your actual projects. So from here, you're going to click and highlight it, and you're going to highlight all of it, and then you're going to delete it, and then you're going to input whatever your name you want. So let's put triplets clone masking, which I like to make it the same name as my projects, and it's an MP4 file. So it's going to export to the desktop, guys, but I don't want to send it to the desktop, okay? I want to send it to the same folder that I had for my Premiere Pro project, which is going to be documents right here. See, we have triplets clone masking. So let's put it in documents right here, okay? So I highlighted documents, it's selected documents, that's the name I want to give it. Let's save it. So now it changed the name of it. It's exporting the video and the audio, so that's great. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit. And then we'll see match source. We want to, if we scroll down in this little subsection right here, you have a scroll wheel right here. You can render at maximum depth so that you get the high full HD quality. And then you want to do match source, and you want to click match source twice so that it highlights and it lights up as blue. And then we're also rendering at maximum depth as well. So all these other settings we're okay with right now. Don't need to worry about it. And then another one that we want to use, render at maximum depth, and then use maximum render quality. Check that box off. Time interpolation, that's okay. All of these others that you don't have to worry about, that's all right. And then once we get down here, do not click Q, because that's going to open up Media Encoder. we want to click export. So we've given it a format. We've made it match source high bit rate. When it does that, it it actually changes the preset whenever we click match source high bit rate. And then let me go ahead and click that right there, render at maximum depth. It changes the preset itself. It still has the same output name, that's all right. And then export video audio, yep. We have the format, the preset, the name, and we also have the destination with the output as well. And render at maximum quality. And export. Don't click Q, click export. Now it's exporting. It's doing it for the it's doing it for all the videos and the audios as well. Take this off. All right, now it's done exporting, guys, and let's go ahead and minimize this. Not on our desktop because we didn't save it there. Let's go ahead and open up Finder, and then it should be in our Documents section. Okay, Documents. We got all these other sources, but then we got, whoa, what is this? Triplets clone masking. There we go. Double click it. We can play it out. 47 seconds long. And it looks and it sounds great. And there's the video. That's it. It's done. All right, guys. So I walked through with you everything, every step that I did going through this project. Hopefully you can replicate it in the future, and it's a helpful tip. You should be able to access this on Microsoft Stream, and I'll share the link with you guys later. But I can't wait to see what you guys use for this tutorial and how you kind of base what you do after it. I went through all the steps, so I should be seeing very similar quality in the future because I've given you guys like really helpful guides. Okay. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. All right. Guys, we can't be sitting around here all day. All right. I mean, look at you. You're just sitting here. You're on your phone. Yeah, we are beyond lazy. Okay, we have to find something to do. Well, what do you want me to do? I can't. Something, man. Like I don't like. He's not even talking. He's just minding his own business. He's not productive whatsoever. And you've just been sitting there. Sure, I'm leaning, so I'm not the most like athletic, if you will, the most active, but like, come on. All right, I'll look for something to do, I guess. Whatever you say, but we're just going to be sitting here just like a bunch of duds for no reason whatsoever. All right.